House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has joined Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer in calling for President Trump's removal from office, either by invoking the 25th Amendment or through impeachment. Joining me now is Michael Isikoff of Yahoo News. Michael, thanks so much for being with us. How likely is it that this happens, that with 13 days left to go in office, President Trump is removed?
Look, with Pelosi now committed, apparently committed to moving forward, what she said was, if Pence doesn't immediately invoke the 25th Amendment to have the president removed, the House will move to impeachment. Now, if you remember the long course of impeachment during Trump's presidency, Pelosi had held out for the longest period of time until the Ukraine imbroglio in 2019. Then she said, let's move forward, and they did. So having Pelosi out there staking out this ground is a big development and makes it far more likely than it was just a few hours ago.
What happens to Donald Trump after this? You know, we always, throughout his presidency, felt that he was Teflon Don. He was able to come back from comments he made about, disparaging comments he made about Senator McCain. And then after the Charlottesville incidents, the things he said there, will he not escape this time? Will he be held accountable?
Well, look, there are so many moments throughout the Trump presidency when we've said this is the breaking point. This is when the floor will collapse underneath him, and it hadn't happened. But this does feel different to have those images of a mob incited by the president terrorizing members of Congress in the Capitol itself. Seems like something beyond which any of us, nobody ever imagined. Now, consequences, I should say, even if the House were to vote impeachment, that would not remove him from office. Of course, he would have to go for a trial in the Senate. There's 2 weeks left. The idea that this would just, swimmingly move through does seem a bit far-fetched. But there are other steps that can be taken here. At a minimum, a censure resolution. That's certainly one thing that's being looked at. More demands for invoking the 25th Amendment, but also criminal referrals. We just reported on Yahoo News that House Democrats are drafting criminal referrals to send to the Justice Department to have the president and others, Rudy Giuliani, Donald Trump Jr., be investigated for inciting violence and even possibly sedition. There were a number of comments, trial by combat, Rudy Giuliani said in that speech, and other comments the president himself made about marching down and putting pressure on those weak Republicans. Whether or not it adds up to a criminal prosecution, hard to say, but it's certainly there are people who are demanding consequences for what happened. And I should add one other thing. Republicans, you're hearing more and more Republicans speaking out. Today, Elaine Chao, the Secretary of Transportation, resigned. Mick Mulvaney, former Chief of Staff, resigned as the envoy to North Ireland. You're hearing angry comments from House Republicans, even though a majority still voted to try to overturn some of those election results. I think we are at a break point within the Republican Party.
Michael Isikoff, Chief Investigative Correspondent for Yahoo News. Thanks as always.